Hello and welcome to the Good Boy Podcast, the monthly dog storytelling discussion fun time show. I am your host, Ilya Alexeyev, and for this month I was going to do something a little different. I think I did this last year, and so I think what I'm going to call this is 2019 Family Update. And that's not to say like, oh, guess what? We got a little puppy, because that's not the case. Not yet, at least. Just wanted to give some update on Mikey and Dewey and the things that are going around with them. So this will be a shorter episode, so if you like shorter episodes, that's good for you. If you like longer episodes, just listen to it twice. It's been a while since I've talked about how they're doing. We'll start with Dewey, and I'll keep it kind of brief. But he's mostly been the same, except he's had a few, I don't know how you'd call it, maybe some spans where, few day periods where his legs aren't working too well, and they're just not working too well, and they don't do what he wants to do. And like they sometimes won't work, where he'll be walking down the stairs and they'll just be like kind of flat and it'll be kind of like sliding down the stairs. So we actually a couple weeks ago, so this would put it around mid-December 2019, we almost put him down. He was having a few bad days in a row, more than a few bad days, and we said, all right, if he has one more, we're going to do it. And fortunately for him, and I guess for us, the day we were going to do it, he was perfectly normal. And we were like, well, he's fine, so we're not going to do it. And then more or less he's been good. So, I mean, he's still Dewey and has his erratic Dewey behavior, but in terms of his ability to walk around the house and be himself, he's able to do that pretty well. So we'll see how long he lasts. I'm recording this after Christmas, and it was kind of sad because we're like, well, this might be Dewey's last Christmas. My mom got sad about that. I still think Dewey's gonna live forever. I think he's like immortal. I don't know, I don't want to call it like a curse, because I don't think it'd be a curse for him, but like he stumbled across like something like that being like a children's fantasy movie that makes him immortal. Other than that, I think that's pretty much Dewey. I mean, he's still the same dog. If you listen to the episode where I talked about him, or just the snippets I've talked about him in other episodes, he's just Dewey, just moseying along. I'm actually surprised he's not in the studio here recording, begging to be in the studio while I'm recording. Usually he does, but I'm recording in the morning, so maybe he's still sleepy. So yeah, I think that's all I'll really talk about Dewey. So next on to Big Mike. Oh yeah, and well, it's a good transition point because we had just crossed 5 years of owning Dewey a few days ago, and then the day after Christmas was 10 years of owning Mike. So coincidentally, they have late December adoption into our family. I don't know the best phrasing on that. Mikey we got because we put Sparky down before Christmas and we were ready for another dog, so that's why we got him like right after Christmas. And then with Dewey, we were looking for a dog for a while, but since we had Mikey, we needed to find the right dog. And so it took some time. I don't remember how long it took, but probably like at least a month or so. I mean, it wasn't like every day, but you know, we went to a bunch of different humane societies. And then that day we had gone to the San Francisco SPCA and got him. So it wasn't like, it's Christmas time, got to get a dog. Like, that wasn't our logic. But that is great logic. So feel free to adopt that into your own life. All right, so on to Mike. Mikey's been doing well. A while ago, and I think I mentioned this, we started giving him these like joint supplements. I don't even know the name of them, so I can't. This isn't, this is an independent show, so no sponsorships here. We're not shilling to the corporations. So he gave him some supplements, and he'd kind of like petered off, kind of like on going on walks, just because like he wasn't really up for it. Previously, he was super energetic and needed them and loved them, but then I guess he was feeling some pain, and we decided to try them. He thinks they're a treat, so that's great. He likes them. And then he's been doing better, and so we've been walking him like almost every day. He's over 10 years old, so they're not, the longest. Nothing close to what he used to do, but he's enjoying them. Like, we could tell he's not in pain. Like, he's jumping further to get onto the curb, jumping off curbs. He's got a big old smile on his face. He gets excited for them. The new thing, he was even trying. We went down a popular street, and he even was like running while on the leash. That's how excited he was. So to me, that was like an excellent sign that he's feeling well. And so I'm glad those are working out, because it's great to see him like that. The new thing we've been doing is probably like a few houses away. After we're coming home from taking him out, we'll take his harness off and he'll just run home. So I've ran with him a few times. His acceleration is still pretty good. It's hard for me to remember, like, if it's obviously just due to his age, it's not going to be the same what he used to. His top end speed's not fast. I think I'm faster than him. Not to brag about how fast I am, but like if we're doing like couple 100 feet, I could beat him. But if it's short distance, he would probably beat me, because his acceleration is so fast with his 4 legs. But he's feeling good. He still doesn't really chew on the tennis balls, so I haven't really done like any like reading on that. But it seems like that was just like he had so much energy that he just needed to like do something, and so that's why he would chew on them or chew on toys. Like, he doesn't really do that at all. So I'm super excited that he's feeling well. It's great to see him do well. This is more akin to what I thought he would be like when he was older. I thought he would still chew on the ball, but he had gotten injured. I probably talked about it briefly, but he had gotten injured, and so like, when he's injured, it's hard for us to gauge, like, because you need to be active to build, so you don't like completely lose muscle, but you don't want to go overdo it. So it was just kind of like hard for us to find that balance with an animal who you cannot verbally communicate with. So glad to see him feeling better. We also mentioned that a while ago that he's on medication to help his seizures. So I'm recording this a few days before New Year's Eve, and last New Year's Eve he had really bad seizures. My mom said he had 4 that they know of on that day. So I remember definitely talking about that, but so I don't remember when we got him on the medication, but he's on medication to help reduce them, and they have. He still has had some, and they're always brutal to see. It's hard to see an animal like in pain and like lose control. He hasn't gotten like, he's still, when he's recovering from one, like he still like knows that like, oh, he can still tell that it's me in there, not just some random person, because there's some fear with seizures that the animal may be confused, and so they might bite you if you try to like pet them to calm them down. But he hasn't been like that at all. One of the side effects of the medication is it makes him think he's hungry all the time. And so he's kind of reverted back to some of the more puppy early days of bad behavior, of stealing food. So luckily he's not as fast. But he's very persistent about trying to get food. So that's unfortunate because we know he knows better. He knows better. You can just tell in his behavior when he gets caught. He's not quite like one of those dogs you see those videos where where you're like, Mikey, did you do this? And then they like won't look at you, and then they're like he's not quite like that, but he will kind of like run away because he knows he's guilty. So he's still smart, so that's good. But yeah, I wish he wouldn't do that. So for Christmas, the dogs did not get any gifts really, except I had a couple years ago. I had bought when Mike was younger, he had this toy and it said like Little Buddy on it, and it was like a plush toy, pretty big. It had a bunch of squeakers in it, and he loved that thing to death. Like, he shredded it up, and we just had like essentially what you'd call the carcass of it, which is just like the fabric with no stuffing, and he still would like freak out when he saw that. So I couldn't find the original one because like the company doesn't make it anymore, but I found like a smaller version on eBay a few years ago, and so I bought them. I gave one to Mike and I gave one to Dewey. Maybe I gave 2 to Mike. I believe I got 4 small ones. 2 of the Little Buddy and the 2 of them said Mailman. And I gave them to the dogs that Christmas, whenever that was. And then I think I gave Mike another one for his like birthday or whatever. And I still had one left, and I had left it under my bed. And when we were talking about on Christmas, when we were talking about, oh, this is Dewey's last Christmas, I was like, whatever, like in my head, I'll just bring it out and just give it to Dewey. So Dewey still chews toys a little bit. His attention span is pretty short, so he'll kind of just drop them pretty quickly, but he still likes them. So I ran upstairs and just gave it to him, and he liked it. Mikey wasn't very interested in it. He was a little jealous that Dewey got something, so we had to take it away from Dewey. That's the funny thing too, because if one of them, when they get medicine, Mikey makes sure he gets some too. Now, Mikey's medicine sometimes is just like a finger scoop of cream cheese or something like that, or peanut butter. Not necessarily an actual medicine, but he is very keen on having equal treats, medicine amongst him and Dewey. So it's always funny seeing that. Like, what you'll call Dewey, for whatever reason, and then Mikey will come running in from the other room because his assumption is that Dewey is getting something. So Mikey's doesn't always listen. We know he hears, but he's not always listening. But if you say Dewey and Dewey comes, he'll hear Dewey's name being called, or he'll hear Dewey get up, and then he'll come in there. So treat, Dewey, walk. He's good at those. And I think that's mostly it for the updates that I have. But the guys are doing all right. We got older dogs. There's not all the excitement of the young pups, which is good. There should be like a saying. I mean, maybe there is that I just don't know. But it's like, it's like, always make friends who have puppies or something like that. Basically, like, have a friend who has a puppy so you can get the like awesome like love and affection and joy from that, but you don't have to deal with the destruction and all the attention that they require. Thank you for listening. This is just something I just decided to do on my own. No money. Like, I don't make any money. Like, this is just something I do for fun, and gotten a lot of great feedback from people who enjoy it. Try to come up with some awesome episodes for 2020. Again, I know the intention of this show is to try to be evergreen, but I guess if you're listening in chronological order, you'll get like the like small like Law and Order update where it's like, oh, well, this thing happened. So maybe that's kind of like my goal of it. But I try not to do too newsy, like, and guess who's in the news today? Wishing you a happy new year. And as I always close out the show, keep petting those dogs.